I think we're a bit of a fan of flexible toilet connectors in the UK. This is what we often use to connect our toilets to the soil pipes. Every toilet that I've ever worked on has had one installed. It looks simple to work with, right? But there's one big mistake that you can make that will have disastrous effects. The question is, did I or did I not make that mistake? Let's rewind back to summer and find out. Right then, today we're swapping out this pan. We're keeping the same system, we're getting rid of this. Reason being, this is a closed back. It might look slightly nicer, but it's just a fucking nightmare. Because we actually have a leak and we're not 100% sure why that has happened. I fitted this whole bathroom in the first place a few years ago. I took this toilet off last year because the flexi pan connector got chewed by rats. I'll show you the other side now. We're in the other bathroom outside. So this is the original wall. That flexi there is quite a long one. And the reason why I had to use a flexi all the way through is because of the position of this. Now there's no rat chews there, so one or two things have happened. The leak was intermittent, so what I'd done a few weeks ago, I took that silicone out just there, just to see when the water come out and what was the actual issue. It could be the refill loop, in which case it would be leaking all the time. It could be the donut in between the cistern and the pan, in which case it would leak when it was flushed. Could just be something to do with a flexi. To find out whether it's the donut in between the cistern or the pan connector, basically you pour a bucket of water down there, and then if you get the leak, then it's the pan connector. And I'm not going to show you that it's leaking, because it's already been done before I got here, so that was already determined. It is the pan connector. Either the pan connector is slipped off the back or there's a split in it somewhere. This is the last time I want to take this poxy toilet off, so we've got a different pan. This one, it's the same model, but it's open back. See that cut out at the back just there? Cistern's empty, there's a little bit of water in the bottom. I just need to cut around this and then undo the screws at the bottom. We'll pull it off a little bit. I'll get my inspection camera in there to see what the actual issue is. It smells already. Okay. Yeah, slipped off. Motherfucker, innit? Chances of that. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is turn this isolation valve off. Then we're going to use my expensive spanners. These are brilliant, these are. Because we're going to undo the flexi from the flush valve here. I hate these things. So you just want plenty of space around your toilet. If you have a bathroom, do a big one. Don't worry about having a bidet. If this wasn't here, it'd be so much easier. We are bagged up, elastic bands. I've mopped up all the water. I've used some bacterial spray. I need to take this cistern off now. I'm sweaty, it's so hot today. It's about 25 degrees. If you're ever going to take your cistern off, buy a new one first. Hopefully we've got the replacement here. You can use plumber's mate around it if you need to reuse it. I've done that a couple of times, but don't ever put this in without using plumber's mates. Try and get a new one. They're not available in Screwfix or anything. You have to get them off either a dedicated plumber's merchants or Amazon or something. Oh, you fucker. Before I put the cistern on this, I'm just going to double check that it's going to go over these brackets. Okay, we're ready for the cistern. We go for donut. Oh, no, we won't go for donut. Right, I'm going to use the same one. I need to clean that in a second. I'm not going to show you that bit because it's going to be disgusting. But you see these bits here? Why is there not like a little ridge there to stop that kind of thing like sliding off? I bet you didn't know that you could even slide off in the first place. If we take a look at the toilet that I removed, there is no discernible fluting or ridge from this part. If anything, this slopes down, so this end is slightly smaller. And the width of this is 100 millimeters. Whereas the rubber gasket that's on here, which is stretchy, this is 70 millimeters. So we are relying on friction alone just to keep this in place. Remember that word, it's important. Friction. This particular toilet is at my in-laws' house, and around the time that I reinstalled it after the rat situation, my brother-in-law had a change of circumstances which led to him frequenting this particular toilet on a regular basis. He eats a lot. Now that means he's going to be on quite a few missions to drop off big loads. You think that wouldn't really be too much of an issue, but as soon as you flush that toilet, you see the design feature of this being flexible, the concertina means there's ridges inside as well. So you can imagine what happens, your load goes in here, douche, hits that ridge there, douche, hits that ridge there. It just carries on and it gets worse and worse and worse over time. So we're relying on the friction from this to resist the force of any poo that's forcing it that way. Now, what reduces friction? Lubricant. So if you've ever had any experience of shoving pipes into things, you know that you need to use a little bit of lubricant. On this occasion, it's a specialist silicone lubricant. This end, to go into the soil pipe, you put it round here, and that way you can get it in. Otherwise it's quite difficult. See, I can't do that because it's dry. And that's where the biggest mistake is that you can possibly make with this. Because you would naturally think you need to put lubricant on this bit to get it over the part on the toilet. But that's where I was wrong. That's the mistake that I made. I put silicone lubricant on this bit. The manufacturers, in the instructions, can you believe that there's instructions for these? It says to put silicone lubricant on this bit, and then if you need to use lubricant on this bit, it's just water. Just water. That is it. And I thought I was clever, eh? Didn't read the bloody instructions. Oh dear, there's a big shit there. Oh God. Now if I ever have to take that off again, I'll just fit a new pan connector anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Nostrils full of poo particles. Okay, the flush is still wedged. I'm going to turn this valve on. We are going to flush it. We need to look out for leaks from the flexi and the shut-up valve, isolation valve. We also need to look for leaks between here, between the cistern and the pan, because that donut might have gone skew with. And we also need to look for leaks out the pan connector. We're all good. Okay, I actually done a decent job of tiling, so I haven't got stupid bloody holes everywhere, but we're going to put a pipe collar around. We are almost there. I just need to silicone this, but that's going to be a separate video. If I've already released that, that's up in the top corner. Just bear in mind, if you are going to get a closed back toilet, your flexi pan connector, if you've got one, they can slip off. And in the words of my YouTube friends, think maintenance. And I'll call this one done.